crisis. The United States has a shameful secret. A secret that many are unaware of, but one that affects thousands of young lives every day. We lock up more children than any other country in the world. This is not just a statistic, it's a reality that impacts our future generations. These are not hardened criminals. They are kids. Innocent children who deserve a chance at a better life. Some as young as 10 years old. Children who should be in school, playing with friends and dreaming about their future. They are locked away from their families, their communities, and their futures. Their lives are put on hold and their potential is wasted. Many people do not know about these children. They are hidden from view, their stories untold. They do not see the overcrowded facilities, the lack of education, or the abuse. The conditions these children endure are often inhumane. They do not hear the cries of children who are scared and alone. Their voices are silenced by the walls that confine them. This is a national crisis, a crisis that demands our immediate attention and action. It is a moral stain on our country. We must do better. We must hold ourselves accountable for the future of these children. We must fight for a system that protects children, not punishes them. A system that offers hope and rehabilitation. It's time to listen to the stories of these children, to understand their pain and their dreams. It's time to understand the systemic failures that lead to their incarceration, to address the root causes and find real solutions. And it's time to demand a more just and compassionate approach to youth justice, one that values every child's potential and humanity. The numbers tell a grim story. Every year, over 600,000 children are arrested in the United States. Thousands are held in adult jails and prisons, often in solitary confinement. These children are disproportionately black and brown. They are more likely to come from poor communities. They are more likely to have experienced trauma and abuse. These are not just statistics. These are real children with real lives. They deserve a chance to grow and thrive. They deserve a future full of hope, not bars. We cannot ignore these numbers. They represent a generation of children who are being failed by the system. Trapped in the system, stories of young lives lost. Meet Michael. He was only 15 when he was arrested for stealing a candy bar. A moment of poor judgment that would change his life forever. He was sent to a juvenile detention center, where he spent the next 3 years of his life. 3 years in a place meant for punishment, not rehabilitation. Michael's story is not unique. It is a tragic example of a system that often fails the most vulnerable. There are countless others like him. Children who are incarcerated for minor offenses, often due to poverty, lack of opportunity, or untreated mental health issues. These children are caught in a cycle that is hard to break. Take Sarah, a 13-year-old girl who was arrested for running away from an abusive home. Her cries for help were met with handcuffs instead of compassion. Instead of receiving the support and care she desperately needed, she was placed in a juvenile detention facility, a place where her trauma was compounded. There, she faced further trauma and abuse. These stories are heartbreaking. They reveal a system that is more punitive than protective. They are a reminder that we are failing our children. We must do better. We must advocate for change and support systems that truly help. These are not just stories. They are real lives, real futures at stake. These are lives that have been forever altered by a system that is supposed to protect them. We must strive to create a world where every child is given the chance to thrive. Section 4. The school-to-prison pipeline. A system rigged against the vulnerable. The school-to-prison pipeline is a real and pervasive problem. It refers to the policies and practices that push children out of school and into the criminal justice system. Zero-tolerance policies, for example, criminalize minor infractions that could be addressed through restorative justice practices. These policies disproportionately impact children of color and children with disabilities. The lack of funding for education and mental health services in marginalized communities further exacerbates the problem. Children who are struggling are often met with punishment instead of support. We need to dismantle the school-to-prison pipeline and invest in our children's futures. Section 5. Scars that run deep. The lasting trauma of incarceration. The experience of incarceration can have devastating and long-lasting effects on children. These young individuals are often thrust into a harsh environment that leaves them emotionally scarred. They often suffer from PTSD, anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues. The psychological impact can be profound and enduring, affecting their ability to function in everyday life. The trauma of incarceration doesn't end when a child is released. The outside world can seem just as daunting, if not more so, than the confines of their cell. They face significant barriers to education, employment, and housing. These obstacles make it incredibly difficult for them to reintegrate into society and lead a normal life. They are also more likely to be re-incarcerated. The cycle of incarceration becomes a revolving door, trapping them in a system that offers little hope for change. This is not just a problem for the individual child. The ripple effects extend to their families, who suffer alongside them. It is a problem for their families and for society as a whole. Communities bear the burden of lost potential and increased social costs. We must break the cycle of incarceration and create a system that supports rehabilitation and redemption. Programs that offer mentorship and guidance can make a significant difference. We need to offer these children a path to healing and hope. Only then can we begin to mend the deep scars left by incarceration.